Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with. Cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impacts with the racket. The call of new balls please seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point, the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour optic yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow.
Welcome to the record-breaking Sports Bar with me, Majestic, alongside the former Newcastle midfielder Darren Ambrose. But we like to be called on air, what?
Imagine Daz.
Imagine Daz, we're back. That's right, Imagine Daz are back in town, looking after things for Jason and Jamie, who are going to be on breakfast tomorrow. Manchester City make it 3 out of 3 in the Club World Cup after another big win tonight against Juventus. Is Pep's latest rebuild the real deal? Are Manchester City back? And Brian Mbeumo is set for a medical at Manchester United, but Spurs have now turned their attention to Morici Eze. And Darren Ambrose tells me he's the best player outside of the top 5. Eze is the best player outside of the top 5, according to you, Des.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Milos Kerkez is confirmed at Liverpool, is the end of the best fullback partnership in Premier League history, Trent and Robertson. And it's Glastonbury weekend. This year's lineup isn't everybody's cup of tea, so we're building our own. So let us know your dream artist for the Sports Bar Festival. That's right, we're having a Sports Bar Festival tonight. Get involved. We can't do the show without you. 03 717 22 3344. This is the Sports Bar here on talkSPORT. That's right, it's been a while since we've been on radio together. Me, Majestic, and that man over there, Mr. Darren Ambrose. How are we, Daz?
It's been too long, Madge. It's been too long. Why do they always take it too long?
I know.
Come on. Rip it up.
Do a good job.
Do a good job. Everyone loves it, I think.
And you sound like you got a better mic as well tonight, so you got the deep tones.
Have I?
Yeah. You're going to have to do late night love songs with Darren. We just finished watching Juventus and Manchester City.
Yeah.
First and foremost, you've been watching much of the Club World Cup?
Not really, no. And now I'm going to sound like a bit of a hypocrite here because I sat here, I think it was the evening of the opener of the Club World Cup, sat here with Rory Jennings, and we were speaking about, are we looking forward to it? And I said, well, why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be looking for a tournament in the summer, all the best sides? And then Bayern went on to win 10-0. And I was like, you know what? Like, is this okay? Is this okay to be going on to win 10-0 against players that are off work? Like they're using their overtime off work. So you know what? I haven't. So it's a bit hypocritical of me because I was full of praise of it when it first came on. I'm sure if Spurs were in it, I'd be watching it. But I think I will start to watch when it gets to the latter stages, when the quarter, semis and final. I probably will watch. I'm not going to be waking up at 2 a.m. to watch anything, but you've been watching it?
Bits and pieces, but tonight, of course, for work purposes, we watched the game.
It was on the telly, wasn't it? It was on the telly in front of us.
So we had to watch it. So the question to you is, are Manchester City back?
They look like it. They do look like it. Again, can you judge? This is why I talk about this tournament. Can you judge it on this tournament? There's a lot of money involved in this tournament, and I think that's the reason that you are seeing the squads, the team that are there. Bayern Munich made a few changes the other day, didn't they? Rested Harry Kane, Michael Elise, players like that. And
have you heard Harry Kane's German accent?
I have, yes. The old Steve McLaren one. Yeah, I did hear that. It was brilliant. When he's in the ice bath. He got criticised for making those changes because Bayern Munich.
I thought you were going to say Harry got criticised for his German accent.
Because they ended up losing, Bayern Munich. So I think it's only the finances involved. The owners of the football clubs will tell the managers will say, right, we need to win this. There's a lot of bonuses involved for the club. That's the reason. But looking at Manchester City, the original question, can you judge it by what you've seen at the moment? They've played Wydad, beat them. They played Al Ain, beat them as well. And today, look, they played a Juventus side that looked poor on the night. Poor. So they dominated that game. You can't judge it just yet. You can't judge it until the Premier League season starts for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Phil Foden, he was starring again today, and Pep's latest rebuild looks well and truly underway. Yeah. Obviously, with De Bruyne leaving, does that leave space for Phil Foden maybe to come in and shine? You asked me 18 months ago, the obvious replacement would be Phil Foden. And then last season, he had a poor season by his standards. We know that. But maybe, just maybe, he's looked at the Kevin De Bruyne leaving and just thought, you know what, this is my chance, this is my opportunity. I want to be the main man at this football club. And he seems to have come back. He didn't even stop, but he's ended the season well. He's at the tournament, he's looking good against poor sides at the moment, has to be said. So he needs a good pre-season. And then if we can see the Phil Foden that we know the talent's there, then who knows? Right. Sports Bar crew, we need you guys tonight. 03717 223344. A few different things to talk about, of course. If you're a Manchester City fan, we'd love to hear from you. What did you make of the performance tonight? It's, of course, Glastonbury weekend. You like a bit of Glastonbury? Ever been Glasgow before?
I've never been Glastonbury. I've never been Glastonbury. I can't even say it. That's why I've never been. I'm not really a festival goer, Imagine. I know you're going to hate me for that, but
not really. I can understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a concert fan. I went to the last concert I went to was Ed Sheeran. I think it was Chantry Park in Ipswich.
You know, the party star.
He would be on Glastonbury for me. He'd be number one on Glastonbury for me. Yeah, but
is that the Ipswich Ties?
That's the Ipswich Ties. Yeah, of course. But no. Look, I've not. I know you have. I know obviously you're big into your music. Yeah. Is that what you call it? Is that what you say?
It's my job. I must confess something, actually, seeing that we're on the Sports Bar and we're live on the beautiful YouTube and, of course, on smart TVs. Please do watch us. I apologise for how I'm looking, like a bit shabby.
You didn't apologise to me today.
Well, I should do. I forgot that I've got a cap with me as well. You've got yours on. I should have worn mine. But I've come straight from Ibiza.
Have you?
I've gone straight through.
What, you've not gone to sleep?
I've not been to bed.
That's amazing.
I've not been to bed. I've come straight from the party island of Ibiza.
How was it?
Yeah, really good.
When did you land then?
This afternoon.
Wow.
I see Ivan Toney Tuesday.
Did you?
He was at O Beach. O Beach is the home of footballers in the summer.
O Beach is
where Wayne Lineker's
one. Yeah, I've seen a lot of.
Big shout out to Tony Truman.
I've seen
as
a
well.
lot of stories on Jamie O'Hara's actually on his Instagram. Yeah, he loves it out there, doesn't he?
I see.
He runs a gaff.
I've seen Matt Doherty there this season.
Have you?
I've seen the Doc. The Doc was there. The Doc was there.
Nice.
Ivan Toney.
Yeah,
they're all there. Jude and Joe Bellingham, they were there when I were there.
Conor McGregor was there the other day.
Conor was there.
Yeah.
It's the place to be. So listen, I don't know if you've been listening to the Sports Bar this week. I have.
Yep.
You can tell it's the off-season here on talkSPORT.
Yeah.
It's bad, isn't it?
It is bad, yeah.
Like yesterday.
I hate the off-season.
Yeah. there was a pretend Guinness World Record attempt.
Amazing.
Poor old Jamie got right.
Well, he left the studio and no one told him it was fake.
I know. That's hilarious.
Did you see the clip?
So we need you guys more than ever tonight on 03717 223344. We're going to come to the callers right now on the sports bar. Let's go straight to Gaz, who's a Man City fan. Evening, Gaz.
Hey, Gaz.
Good evening, lads. You okay?
I'm even better for you calling us, so we don't have to do any fake world record attempts, mate, because that was poor from the boys. But yeah, a great performance from City tonight. Of course, Juventus, they're no mugs, as they say. It was probably the first test that you've had in this Club World Cup, really.
Yeah, well, I phoned up just to say, really, these new signings, they've just made such a big impact already, and I really think we're going to be frightening next season. I'm not just saying that. I know his 2 games wasn't like big teams, but like you just said then, Juventus, they no mugs, are they?
No, of course not.
We made them look like kids today.
Yeah, you did.
But even the old players from last season, they seem to have improved as well with the new signings. I mean, Nunes tonight, for me, were fantastic.
Yeah.
He's not a right back, but, we've got a port with him there at the minute, but he didn't put a foot wrong.
I just think, Man City have been sort of like last season was like a transitional period. Because remember, Liverpool had that little moment, didn't they, where they dropped down to like 9th in the Premier League and then they came back towards, like, I think, 5th or 6th. I just think you've made some great signings now, as you said. All it takes is, and we're seeing Phil Foden coming back to his best. I think next season, Man City are going to be a real threat again, from the off.
Yeah, I do. That's basically the call. I think... a lot of people, after last season, a lot of people might think that we've gone.
No.
But, I'm watching him tonight, and I was messaging my mate, and I was like, do you know what? I can just see us storming it next season.
But you're not concerned, though? You're not concerned about Liverpool?
Not like the old days where we'd win it a good few points. It'll be a close one between us and Liverpool.
Yeah, well, that has been the thing, isn't it, for the last 10 years, really? It's been City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
The last couple of years has been Arsenal thrown into that mix as well. But Liverpool, with their strength...
Arsenal don't last the pace, do they? For some reason, the pressure gets to Arsenal.
Yeah.
All the time. Liverpool, a couple of times when we won the league, Liverpool's unlucky because they've lost it by 1 point twice.
Yeah.
But, they battled it. I remember them playing West Ham away and they drew 1-0. That was basically us winning the league. And
do you need anyone else? Do you need anyone else to come in, do you think?
We need a proper right back, don't we?
Yeah.
You can't be like... We've got position... our midfield's frightening.
Yeah.
Them signings, what he's done, and Marmouche, that guy, wow. And I don't know if you've seen the game tonight. But,
yeah, we did. And I'll tell you what, for me...
Mourinho's goal...
and that ball from Rinders from across.
He looks good. He looks good.
Yeah.
You linked with Livramento as well. Would you have that? Obviously, my Newcastle connection, we wouldn't want it to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, Livramento.
Yeah.
And I can't see many other better than that.
And of course, seeing Rodri back as well.
Yeah, I thought he might look still a bit tired, but he looked on it tonight. Yeah, he played well. The first 2 goals. Like I said before, Nunes, he had a part in both of them. But you seen Rodri just bossing outside the area, didn't you?
Yeah.
If he wanted the ball, he know where it's going to.
Yeah.
It's just like before he got the injury. So he's like a new signing again next season. But I'm really optimistic. I can't argue after last season. 1 year in 10's not bad, is it?
No, not at all.
Of course.
Brilliant stuff. Listen, thank you very much, Gaz. Gaz, a Manchester City fan. Let's go to Lee, also a City fan, joins us on the Sports Bar. Evening, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
How are you doing, all right?
Yeah, very well. Do you echo the sentiment of Gaz there about next season for Man City? Because tonight was a really good performance.
Yeah, the only bit I disagree with, I think we're going to storm Liverpool as well.
Yeah.
We'll absolutely storm them.
Why would you say that?
This big thing about Verts at 100 odd million. There's only Declan Rice maybe who's been 100 odd million who's performed. There's not 100 odd million players. They're normally dead cert to flop.
Well, what if he does perform though? He's a talent, isn't he?
If he does perform, you just got to look what we've got. The one worry I do have is Wydad and Al Ain, both them games, even though they're not great teams, when Rodri wasn't on the pitch, we did look a little shaky when we lost the ball. That's more of the same old City that worries me a little bit. But when Rodri was there today, absolute rock solid. I don't see us like, we'll storm it, absolutely storm it. As long as Rugby stays fit, which is a worry, because obviously you can't rely on one player, but Rugby in that team, and then the likes of the Rinders, the way he's playing, Cherksey, the way he played in the last game, Aitanora, we'll absolutely storm it this season. I think it might be a Mickey Mouse tournament, they say, but we're definitely back. All the signs are there.
So you're going to win this tournament as well, then?
Depends the way he rotates, but yeah, I don't see why we don't go and win this and then go and win the league, go push into the Champions League as well next season.
Wow. It's gone from 4 seasons. You're winning. We're winning everything. Amazing. 13 points you got to make up of Liverpool. You think the signings you've had is enough to do that, even though Liverpool are strengthening from power?
Rugby himself gets you 13 points there. Just Rugby on his own is like a new signing.
It's a good shout.
Literally the best player in the world, and we still Ballon d'Or winner, and we finished third, not a million miles off it.
No, you wasn't. I personally think there was too much made of this sort of the great fall of Manchester City. The players that they brought in now, you know, they just complement each other. And as Gaz said, some of the younger players, I think, are thriving in that environment. I think. Well, you tell me, you're the professional footballer. Have you been in teams where there's been rebuilds around whilst you've been there? And does it energise the squad?
Yeah, of course it does.
Does it?
Yeah, when you bring big players in, big names in, it does energise because it lifts the players in the dressing room as well. And I only mention Liverpool. Look, not only mention Liverpool, they're the Premier League winners. They're the Premier League holders. But if you remember back to the times of Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson, he used to rebuild in power. He's just won the Premier League, Arne Slot, and he's bringing in players that you think it could be over already.
A bit like Manchester United, Trent Alexander-Arnold, letting big players walk away at their peak because they're like, no one's bigger than a club.
Yep.
We'll go again.
I'm concerned. Obviously, not concerned. Spurs are going to get nowhere near it next season again. But if you're Arsenal, if you're Chelsea, teams like that, I think you should be concerned at the moment that you're not really doing nothing. And these two are really pushing on early in the transfer window.
Yeah, because in fairness, the Liverpool signings, the Manchester City signings, in comparison to like what Arsenal are looking at, like and going for, we're going to speak later on to a Brentford fan as well in depth. You know, it's night and day, isn't it, in terms of where the, you know, Liverpool arguably have got one of the hottest young talents in Europe in Verts. You know, it's going to be exciting for the Premier League, but scary, as you say, to try and keep up with the pack.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I know what you mean with Arsenal and who they're looking at. Christian Norgard, of course, being one of those, and he's come up onto a little bit of criticism. I think unfair criticism, in all honesty, because we haven't heard what the reason is he's signing. Look, he's a quality Premier League midfielder, captain of Brentford, who have been a solid Premier League side. And I just feel it's a bit of unfair criticism on his front because he's coming in. Is he coming in to replace Thomas Partey? Who knows? Who knows what role he's going to play at the football club? We don't know yet. And I think 11 million or 10 million rising to 15, he's a snip, in my opinion, for an experienced Premier League midfielder that could fit into any formation that Mikel Arteta wants to play. So that's just my opinion on Christian Norgard, and I don't think he's going to be the only player that they're going to be looking at. They're obviously going to have their eye on others, and it doesn't matter if it's done now or if it's done in a week or two. They'll meet up at pre-season, and that's when it needs to be right. So there's going to be people...
Still no striker, though.
Still no striker, but look, they're linked with, obviously, Gyökeres. If they get him, that's tremendous. I just feel it's unfair at the moment to judge these teams because it's so early in the transfer window.
But we are talking about it because we just come off the back of Manchester City looking good in the Club World Cup. Let's go over to Lee, who's a Man City fan, joins us on the Sports Bar. Evening, Lee. How are we, Lee? You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. I'm all good. I'm much better after having seen that performance tonight. I have to say that. I agree with the first City caller that you had on. That looks like a properly balanced Man City team now with a proper left back in there, which we didn't really have last season.
Agreed.
Hopefully, if we have a right back in there, hopefully it just gives that team that bit more balance. But for me, the key is Rodri. Everybody knows he's not back up to 100%. Of course, he's not. But just having him there in that position, in that holding midfield, the whole confidence it gives to the whole team. You know, the back four know he's sitting right in front of them. The guys that are going forward know he's right behind them. He's in all the right positions. He doesn't need to be 100% fit to influence the game against Juventus. It's not, you know, we weren't playing like Al-Ain tonight. Yeah. It was Juventus. But to have him in there, the whole feeling of the team felt completely different. So for me, it's going to be like, I think, you know, a bit of caution. I don't think we're going to storm anything next season. It's going to be an absolute ding-dong, probably between ourselves and Liverpool. I mean, you can't dismiss Arsenal at all, but what's exciting for me in this is both of those two teams, Man City and Liverpool, are retooling big time. And we've just had 4, 5, 6, 7 years of a brilliant rivalry between the two clubs and some unbelievable title races. And it looks like they're going to go again. And what a great thing for the Premier League that'll be over the next 5 or 6 years if we go again.
Don't know about that.
If you're a Man City and Liverpool fan, great. If you're not, no.
It's not that good.
Well, yeah, but nobody wants to see one club dominate.
No, of course. But I just think, you know...
Well, you did the last 5 years before last season.
He's right in saying the Liverpool came close, didn't they? They pushed Man City all the way.
We got there in the end, but some of those title races when both clubs were going 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games, win, and you just knew one result every single game, didn't matter who it was against, one result that you drop and that could be the end.
Yes,
what a way to race for a title that is. And if you can get two teams like that, and like I say, Arsenal aren't going to go away, so they'll come again. So it looks for me like the Premier League is set for another kind of a run, if you like, of really, really fierce competition for that number one spot. And I think that can only be a good thing.
I'm going to throw this at you then. What is considered a good season for Manchester City next year then, after what you've seen?
I think we just got to be there competing right until the last few games, and if we can win it, we can win it. But we need to make sure that everybody knows that Man City are back where we need to be. We can't have a run like we had this season where basically we all knew by kind of not long after Christmas that City's season was basically done.
Yeah.
We can't have a season like that, but providing that we are pushing right till the very end, we might not get there. Liverpool's retooling is unbelievable. Some of the players they brought in, they look like they're going to be fantastic again. So we can't, we're not guaranteed, there's no gimme in this in any way, shape or form. But if we can go toe-to-toe with them, then what it means is for the next few years, we're going to be there and thereabouts, and we'll come out on our fair share of those kind of title races on top in our own right. So, that should be positive. And then just get us looking. I think last season we looked at times we just looked a bit old and tired and a bit worn and stuff. That looked like a team tonight with a lot of energy. They were going a lot more direct. They looked a lot more prepared to try, the difficult ball to try and play through the line.
Yeah, like I mentioned already, that Rinders ball was unbelievable. Yeah, it was. Sometimes it's nice to see that kind of. It's an old school pass that we don't often get to see. It looked brilliant. Thank you very much. Listen, Manchester City fans, call us 03717 22 3344. As I mentioned as well, it is Glastonbury weekend this weekend, so a lot of people who normally listen might be at Glasgow. You're not the festival man, but I want to, with our amazing listeners, design the Sports Bar Festival. So we need to start, as you do with festivals, with the headliners.
Yep.
Yeah. At Glastonbury, you got the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday headliner. Yep. One's like an old school legend. One's like a current artist that's doing big things, and one's another artist, like a rock band.
Okay.
So we need to have the Friday night, the Saturday night, Sunday night headliners. We need to put that in. So I want people's suggestions for the Sports Bar headliners.
We'll put them in.
For the Sports Bar Festival, and then we will agree all together. Now I'm going to throw one in the mix.
Go on.
For the old school one.
Go.
Elton John. We had
who's better? Who's going to be better than that?
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
He's got to be in.
I wouldn't mind a Simply Red.
Oh, goodness.
You like Simply Red?
Yeah, I don't mind Simply Red.
I'm trying to think, it needs to be like an old school, because they've had the Paul McCartney's. Elton John obviously did Glasgow a couple of years ago. But that legacy slot I think it's like on the.
Has
the
Elton ever done it?
Yeah.
So it's got to be Elton, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that we want.
Yeah, the listeners will know.
Listeners, 03717 223344. You can text us on 81089 or send us a WhatsApp message. I'm taking the thing off Dazzy's reading them at the moment. Do tell us who you would like to see at the festivals. We're gonna make the whole different stages, but right now I want the classic
Legend.
I think the Saturday night headliner.
Yep.
The legendary. Elton John's an option. I think Rod Stewart's doing it this year at Glasgow. Is Rod?
Is he?
Rod's a good one. Big Celtic man.
Yeah.
And fan of talkSPORT. So we like Rod.
You got knowledge on music, by the way.
I love Rod. Yeah.
I'm gonna Google who should be, and then
Right.
if someone gets what I'm gonna put, we'll put him in.
So we're going for the festival tonight. Start thinking about who you want to see on the Sports Bar Festival. Of course, we're going to be giving away some chances to win Oasis tickets later as well. Oasis. That's a big name.
They could be on it.
Exactly. We need you lot. 03717 22 33 44 is the number to call. You listen to Imagine Daz here on the Sports Bar on talkSPORT.
Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
Good evening. evening. It's the Sports Bar with me, Majestic, and former Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Birmingham, Charlton, Ipswich.
Oh, good knowledge again. Has it gone Wikipedia there?
Smirnoff Ice.
Apollon Smyrnis.
Apollon Smyrnis. Ticanis filet, which was in Greece.
Yep.
We've been asking you to throw in your suggestions for
Loads are coming, eh?
Loads. I love the fact that people love music as much as I do. We've got someone said to have Tom Jones on the Friday and Black Sabbath on the Sunday.
Tom Jones, a good shout.
Yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it?
Black Sabbath, that Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, and of course they are playing Villa Park this summer.
Are they?
Yeah, I think next weekend actually.
You going?
I'd love to go.
You're working?
I don't think I want to tickets. Anyone at Villa Park want to get me some tickets to see Ozzy? Sharon, I want Mads to come to the Villa Park. I'm going to sing Paranoid and Iron Man and War Pigs and all the hits.
That's not Ozzy Osbourne, by the way. That's Madge.
Our wonderful Sarah has messaged us. Our Sarah.
Yeah, go on.
Saying cameo.
Yep.
Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Earth, Wind and Fire. Now, Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm going to put a little side note on that. I like that.
You're going to play one out.
Earth, Wind and Fire. That's the perfect Sunday evening.
Is it?
Before the big one. Because we've actually got the Glasgow lineup here.
I don't know about Glastonbury. That's the problem.
So the headliners this year, on the Fridays, the 1975, they're headlining.
Yep.
With Loyal Kana, who's a rapper. You know, have ever heard of Loyal Kana?
Yep.
And Biffy Clyro and Alanis Morissette. That's going to be a good set, that will be. Then Saturdays, Neil Young, Charlie XCX, Ray, and Doechii. And then on the Sunday, now this pains me.
Why?
Olivia Rodrigo above Rod Stewart. That should never happen in life, ever.
Rod's the man, isn't he?
You can't. How
Rod
can Olivia Rodrigo be above Rod Stewart on any lineup in any world ever?
No.
And then it's Prodigy and Noah Khan there.
So how many stages are there?
Oh, there's so many. People get lost. I've never been, and I've never.
So that's just headliner stage, that one.
That's like they're going to be like the headliners for that. But we got so many people coming through with their suggestions. Duran, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, The Killers. What a lineup! Adam Lambert and Queen for the Saturday night. That could be good. I'm not the biggest fan of Adam Lambert, if I'm honest, with Queen.
No, why?
I don't know. I always want. There's a guy who sings and sounds exactly like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
He actually provided some of the voice for Bohemian Rhapsody, the film. I forget his name. Mark. I think Martel.
There's a way you just forget his name, Mark.
Yeah.
like, that just come to you like
he's
a light
incredible.
bulb.
Honestly,
Mark.
I'll have to find a video of him. He sounds exactly like Freddie.
Does he?
I would have loved him to be the main guy. Anyway, we are the Sports Bar. We're going to be talking sports, but we are, of course, Glastonbury weekend. So many people there that we're asking you to create our Sports Bar Festival with us. And so far, we've got so many suggestions. Keep them coming in. So another one for Tom Jones. Surely Tom Jones headline. That's
Tom
from
Jones is a good
Dan
shout,
from
that.
Portsmouth. Right, back to the football for a minute. You're a Crystal Palace man due to your ties of playing there.
Yep.
Obviously, big FA Cup win.
Yep.
But lots and lots of talk about the star man there.
Yeah.
Who you have come out and said is the best player outside of the top five.
He is. In my opinion, he is. I can't think of anyone else.
Who are we talking about? Darren Ambrose?
Eberechi Eze.
Eberechi Eze.
And I look at the Premier League from last season. Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle. So they don't count. So it's from Aston Villa down. Eze is, I think, by far the best player outside of those top five. Head and shoulders. And I think they've been prone to doing this. They had Wilfred Zaha that I felt was the same. They've had Elise, but Eze last season is probably footballing wise the best I've seen him play.
I'll throw some names at you.
Go on.
Bruno Fernandes.
I'd have Eze.
Morgan Gibbs White.
Oh, I see. Good season, good player. I'd still have Eze.
Morgan Rogers.
Look, these like I'm saying Eze, like he's unbelievable compared to these. These are all fantastic players. These are all on the list, but look, you can throw any name.
I'll throw another one. I played his wedding recently. Jared Bowen. I think Jared's brilliant.
I do. Look, all these players you're mentioning are top players. Jared Bowen, top players. Morgan Gibbs White, yes, top player. You can add Matoma from Brighton into that list as well. But the list doesn't go above Eze. None of them, in my opinion. And I think, look, we talk about that he's linked with Arsenal. We know that. and he's linked with Spurs.
Well, he's been heavily linked with Spurs, but just in the last sort of couple of hours, it almost feels like my X feed has gone crazy over Eze to Arsenal.
Yep.
Would that be Arsenal hijacking the move for Spurs? Eze at Arsenal? Is he needed there? Is that the kind of player that they need?
Well,
I don't know why I sounded like Louis Theroux there. Sorry.
Look, of course.
Is he needed there?
I can't give him this high praise and say that he's not needed at Arsenal. Of course he'd be needed at Arsenal. You'd have him over Martinelli, in my opinion, on the left-hand side. Saka on the right, Eze on the left would be tremendous. He'd fit in really well there. They did release him, by the way, as a kid, I think, Arsenal. So he needs to remember that. But it's disappointing because I was asked a question the other day when I was doing the under-21s commentary. And
I heard that, by the way. Good job.
Thank you. And they asked me if I'd want him to go to Tottenham. It's a stupid question, of course. Look, I'm heavily linked with Crystal Palace, of course, being ex-player. I've worked at the football club as well. If there's any club that I'd want to see Eze leave Crystal Palace for, it would be Spurs.
Just, again, reminding Eze that he was released by Arsenal.
Yeah, he was released by Arsenal. He needs to remember this. That was tough times for Eze. You were released by Arsenal.
We picked you up. We helped you go again.
Exactly. And look, Champions League football. The argument is he's happy there, and I know he's happy there.
Well, Palace.
He's happy at Palace. He's just obviously scored the winner in the FA Cup final. Brilliant. He's going down in history for Crystal Palace.
More so than your Rocky at Old Trafford.
Well, he's way above me, mate. He's way above me. There's Europa League that. There's question marks, of course, but I'm very positive that they will be in the Europa League. I think that's not confirmed yet, but I'm very positive he'll be. So, do they want to see him go? No, of course they don't. But 68 million, I believe, he's got a release clause. Mate, anyone should go and get him. Everyone should try and go and get him. He will have so many teams after him, and I think a few of the foreign teams will be after him as well in and around Europe because that seems to be the thing now. Young English players going abroad. But I would love to see him at Spurs, and he'd still be the best player outside the top six, top five.
Will we pay him the wages that he's worth, though?
Well, that's the argument, isn't it? But we need to. We sit here when we're on air once every 6 months. We sit here and we say that we need to be paying. We need to be paying these wages if we want to start competing. Last season was a joke of a season in the league. Of course, finished 17th. But if we wanted to compete or start to get back to compete, we need to start paying high wages. Is Daniel Levy going to do that? Is Joe Lewis going to do that? I don't think they are. So if you're looking at Arsenal compared to Spurs, they will be able to offer him more, in my opinion. They won't offer him more in terms of Champions League because they both got that. I say it again. I'd like to hear the listeners, and I'd like to hear the reasons why that they pick their player over Eze, because this isn't a biased thing, because I'm a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
He is the best player for me outside the top five.
03717 223334 is the number to call. Shout out to Alan, the Arsenal fan. Say good evening, Imagine Daz. Great to see you again, lads. Great. Just wishing you both a great show. I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers, Al.
And he said, Madge, I'll let you know when you're falling asleep again, mate. Get the Red Bull going. Listen, Al, don't worry. There is a double espresso in that cup right there. I'm fresh from Ibiza. Well, I wouldn't say fresh. I'm back from Ibiza. And, you know, it's...
We'll keep you awake, Madge. We'll keep you awake.
Well, the listeners are, because they're already coming in with their headliner suggestions for our Sports Bar Festival. Let's go to AJ. How are you, AJ?
Good evening, Mads. First time I talk to you, but I'm not Sports Bar Rhymes.
We are very, very privileged to have you on. Listen, do you love your music?
I'm a DJ. I used to DJ before, right?
A fellow selector.
Sort of, right. Friday night, I'm getting Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder back together.
Oh.
A good one there, right?
That's a good one, that one. That's ticking all the boxes.
Saturday, it's got to be Simply Red, because it can't be a bit of Simply Red. I've seen them live.
Yeah, they are good, aren't they? Something Got Me Started is my go-to record when the sun's shining in the car. What a tune.
Yeah, it's really good. That. And then Sunday, I'd have to have Elton back because he's just the legend that he is.
Oh, mate.
Elton's got to be in there for me.
Where do I sign up? Where do I sign up for this festival?
It'll probably never happen.
You need to be my booker, AJ.
Even that, Phil Collins. Because that would be
Colin's a good
absolutely
shout.
It's a
amazing.
shame. Phil's obviously, I think he stopped his touring now because of such ill health,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for Phil. What an artist, what a performer. AJ, brilliant shouts there. Thank you,
Love
AJ.
it, AJ.
03717223344. I want to throw like a sort of a noughties tent as well, right? Some of the old bands in there. Bit of Blue.
Yeah,
Get
Spice
Blue.
Girls.
I want Blue headlining one of the stages. And do you know what? We're going to speak to a member of Blue in a moment's time.
Good.
Here on the Sports Bar, it's Madge, it's Daz. We're back on talkSPORT. It's the Sports Bar. Come on, Ambrose. All rise. Yeah.
I like
making it.
I'm not just saying that because our next guest, but
All rise. Yeah.
have you seen
my case?
I've seen Omid Jalili on stage doing
Yes,
Blue.
yeah,
Brilliant.
It is very
It's
good.
brilliant.
Indeed. You are listening to the Sports Bar here with me, Majestic, and former Crystal Palace and Birmingham and Newcastle and all them good stuff there. Charlton, Ipswich. What was your kids' team when you played as a kid in Harlow?
Harlow Sports Centre.
Harlow Sports Centre. A picture
Shout
of you?
out Harlow Sports Centre.
Is there a picture of you up there?
I don't even know if they're still going anymore.
Really?
I think it's all houses and flats and stuff out there now.
Probably. We are talking music as well as football tonight because it is Glastonbury weekend. A lot of people that I know are there. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I've never played there before. You know?
Have you not?
No.
Never had the chance?
Never got the call up.
You will.
You know, like
You will.
You know, like an international call up. You wait for the phone.
Why
to
don't
ring.
we put a plea out
It's a bit like you
for
with
next Glastonbury?
kind of bit like you with your international career. You was waiting for the call.
Yeah,
Should have
never
got the
came.
call. Never came.
Yeah, exactly. But yours still can. Mine is done.
Could still come. Who knows?
We should put a plea out for you.
Some of the moves that Thomas Tuchel's making, you could possibly get
You
the
never
call
know,
up.
you
You
never
never know. 03777 22 4. Best players outside the top 6 Premier League teams is Bowen at West Ham, Gibbs White at Forest, Eze at Palace, and Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. That's from Chris.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
But who's the best out of that bunch?
Eze.
By a mile?
Not by a mile, no, but look, you won't convince me anyone else. He is everything you want in a football player in terms of he's exciting, he gets bums off seats, he scores the worldie, he scored the worldie against Villa, didn't he, in the FA Cup semi-final. He arrives at the right time, he dribbles. He should be a permanent starter in the England team.
He should. Right, let's go speak to a fellow Spurs fan and somebody who is still part of Blue and will be at our festival when we book the Sports Bar Festival.
They're on. They're on.
Blue are on.
They are on.
We're joined by Anthony Costa. How are we, Ant?
Hey, Ant.
Hey, you all right, boys? I'm just passing Harlow now.
Hiya.
Shout out Harlow.
11.
Oh,
Shout out to Harlow.
out to the Harlow crew.
Love it. Remember
Hello,
Sega
crew.
Park?
How you
Remember
doing?
Sega Park in Harlow? That was amazing. First Sega Park going.
Yeah, I remember all that, yeah.
Go on, talk to us about
How you
Eze.
doing, boy?
And
Mate, like Madge, man, like my ex has just blown up. My WhatsApp groups have blown up about him joining Arsenal. It's like, you know, we're champions of Europe. We've got Champions League football. Where's all this myth about getting the best players, attracting the best players? If you don't pay the money, you ain't going to get the player. End off.
No.
And it's just like...
Mate, listen, if Arsenal beat us to Eze, it's embarrassing because I know for a fact we've been courting him for 2 years.
yeah.
100%. And they would thrive on that more than us being champions of Europe. Us missing out on Eze, and then they getting Eze, and it would just put in our faces all the time.
It gets one up again, doesn't it? The
All
old
the
tag
time,
that they give us all the time. It will get them one up on us.
That would be Spursy if we don't get Eze and they get him.
So Spursy. And then you see people putting Eze in a Spurs shirt, and it's just embarrassing. It's like, boys, come on, man. Like, go and get him. He is a Spurs player through and through. You can tell that. As Darren said, he'll get bums off seats. He's exciting.
Yep.
He's that. You don't know what he's going to do next. He's a magician on the pitch. He's a great player, and he'll be so good in a Spurs shirt. But if Arsenal get him, oh my God, like, wow, it's embarrassing.
We need to remind him, don't we, that Arsenal released him as a kid, and that was tough times for him.
Did you ever get released from anywhere, Darren?
My career. I never retired, so I got released from my career.
Bless you. But listen, it's coming back to my point, all this Champions League attracts big players and blah blah blah. It's a load of rubbish, mate. I do not believe that. It's rubbish. Absolute.
Listen, at the end of the day, for Eze right now, who's going to be weighing up his options, he's 26 years of age. He's just won the FA Cup. There's a lot of heat on him. This is his moment to go and earn the big paper because 26, 5-year contract, that's going to see him through until he's 31 years of age.
Yep.
And you're not going to go and get... This is the peak contract now. This is the one.
Yep.
So for him, he's got to be looking at the numbers, isn't he?
Yeah.
Move now, and the only way he's going to get that big move is just coming to N17. That's the best way.
But if Arsenal say, hey, we've got Champions League football, we're so close to winning the league, you could be the missing piece of the jigsaw, and here is 200 grand a week.
Exactly. You just hit the nail on the head. You don't pay the money, you're not going to get the player.
He has to pay the money, though, and we've spoken about this. You know, you'd have spoken about this many times. If we want to start competing with these top teams, We've got to pay top wages, not just top transfers.
Hang about. Listen, boys. We don't forget we just signed a £5 million player from Japan.
I mean, he could come good. He's signing these players though because he wants them to come good, and he wants to sell them on for 30-40 million. That's the only reason.
Exactly. But lads, I want players for now. I don't want players for 2035.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in all that. I want players for now. We want Prem experienced players that know the Prem inside out, have been there for 5-6 years in a team of Crystal Palace. So he knows what he's got getting himself in for.
Yeah. Who needs him more, Ant? Who needs him more? Spurs or Arsenal?
We do. Yeah. We do. 100 million.
Arsenal don't need him, in my opinion.
They don't need him.
And just quickly, seeing how we're talking music because it's Glastonbury, have you done Glastonbury before?
No, like you, Madge, we haven't had the call up.
You not the call up? Oh, mate, Blue.
No, we're not cool enough.
Blue on a Saturday afternoon would be tremendous.
That's a little kick in the teeth for you, Ant, there, wasn't it? He knew that, by the way.
I did not know that.
Afternoon as well, you know. Saturday afternoon with like 2 people and a dog named Colin. And
no, but listen, we've already played one of his records, and don't forget that Anthony Costa from Blue had a record with Elton John. What was it like working with Elton John, man?
He was a ledge, actually. He literally sat there in the video shooting and went to me, what team do you support? And I went, I'm a Spurs fan. He went, oh, all right. I'm Watford, as you know. I went, yeah, I know you're Watford. And we just started talking football. And he was just a lovely guy. Lovely guy. But Stevie Wonder was a ledge as well.
Hang about. You sung with Stevie Wonder as well, Ant?
Yeah, signed, sealed, delivered, isn't it?
He said that, signed, sealed, delivered, isn't it? Like, it's just so casual. Man has sung. That's what I always say about Blue. Put some respect on Blue's name. Stevie Wonder. Man like Elton John. Unbelievable.
You need
stuff.
to get a call up. Glasto.
Tom Jones
as well.
Nice.
Lionel Richie. Yeah.
Hang on.
Let's put this.
Blue might actually have a whole festival lineup there.
Yeah.
So we've got Tom Jones, Stevie Wonder, Elton John, right, with Blue.
Lionel Richie.
You done Lionel as well?
Yeah, we did it the summertime ball when it first announced.
Oh my goodness!
We sang Easy. Yeah, we sang Easy with him. Yeah.
What? Anyone else?
Cool in the Gang. We did Get Down on It.
Ah.
Yeah. Proper legends, man.
We need to get Blue at Glasto.
This is our pledge.
Yeah, we need to get Blue at Glasto.
Blue and Magic Glasto together.
Yep. Mate. Madge spinning the decks, remixing our songs. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go. Brilliant. And listen, lovely speaking to you, my man.
Lads, lots of love, mate.
Top man, and up the Spurs.
There you go. Andy Costa there from Blue. Brilliant. As I say, Stevie Wonder.
How do they not play Glastonbury? Doing like, I've got their songs up now.
Oh mate, they got some bangers. Don't ever get twisted about. You know, it is. I think sometimes, like with boy bands or whatever from those eras, you forget how big they were.
Yep.
That's why Five are back now, aren't they? Five are doing a tour.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel we need like a noughties, 90s tent.
Yeah, let's start it. Let's start a petition to get Blue at Glasto with Madge.
Well, we're having Blue in our noughties, 90s tent. That's our first booking.
Three signatures already. You, I, and Ant.
There we go. 03717 22 is the number to call us on here on the Sports Bar. Don't forget, we're asking you who are the best players outside of the top 5 in the Premier League. Okay, the
behind Eze.
Behind Eze.
Yeah.
Is anyone better than Eze is what we're really asking. And also your festival, your dream lineup for the Sports Bar Festival. 03717 22 You're listening to the Sports Bar. Imagine that's in for Jason and Jamie, who are, of course, doing the Sports Bar Breakfast Takeover tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. It's talkSPORT.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with: cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impact with the racket. The call of "new balls please" seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point: the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour Optic Yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it.
Do you know what this song is, Daz?
Led Zeppelin. No, I don't.
Oasis.
Is it?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
I'm not going to say the name, don't worry. Producer Ryan worried, because it's something in the bushes.
Is it?
Yes. Good evening and welcome to the record-breaking Sports Bar with me, Majestic, alongside Darren Ambrose. He's the former Crystal Palace midfielder. I am, of course, the host of The Final Word on a Sunday with Alan Pardew, and, of course, a DJ producer and broadcaster. Imagine Pads, imagine Daz. Still to come, we have the Midnight Trivia, not the Midnight Train. Get your calls in 03777223344. But first, England are in a final, mate, of the Under-21s Euros. And, of course, it's live on talkSPORT this Saturday.
Got it into the path of Harvey Elliott in the area! What a finish! Harvey Elliott lashes it home for England! And England's young guns are through to another final. The holders of the Under-21 European Championship will have the chance to retain their trophy. England go through to face Germany in the final on Saturday night.
You know, it can't be an achievement, even though, you know, I'm really proud of the lads just to get to a final. I think, you know, we want to try and win it. We believe that we can. I've got a lot of belief in this squad.
Swung into the middle now, good ball as well, and it's such an easy goal as Nelson Viper scores his first for the Germany Under-21.
To get back-to-back at this level, when there's such high quality throughout Europe, to really take control of the tournament, I think is fantastic. And if they can get one more game over the line, then they're going to be heroes throughout the country.
And yes, the voice of the Under-21 Euros, Darren Ambrose, will be back on your airways this Saturday evening as he'll be co-host for England against Germany, the old enemy, in the Under-21's Euros. Yesterday, Harvey Elliott's brace secured England's place in the final. And after the game, Under-21's manager Lee Carsley spoke about his star man who's been out of favour for Liverpool this season.
I've not seen a lot of the frustration. What I have seen is someone that's determined to play and to get the minutes. He wants to play every game and all of the minutes. He's definitely built into the tournament, not getting as much game time towards the end of the season. We've had to manage his minutes in terms of the amount he's played and the intensity that he plays at, because he's so explosive with the way that he moves, and he's end product. So he's we're very lucky to have him.
It was Elliott's fourth goal of the tournament, and it got us thinking, how good is he, Daz? Elliott only got 360 minutes of playing time in the Premier League this season, and at 22 years old, is it time for him to try and get a move away from Liverpool, Daz?
If he's not going to play, yes, because this kid has to play. He's very, very good.
You know what's the thing about Harvey is he feels like he's been around for so long.
He does, yeah.
He's only 22.
Yeah. He is... The first couple of games in the tournament, I'm not saying underwhelming, but he done enough. He scored in the opener against Czechia, but you think you're better than that. Slovenia was such a hard game for the England players and the Slovenian players, because it was so hot that the sun was blaring down and it was difficult conditions.
Yeah.
But since that game, Harvey Elliott's really taken control. Obviously, Germany was a poor performance all round. But in the quarterfinals and semi-finals, he has been the star player. He is such a talent. And the game against the Netherlands, he scored the goal, the first goal.
Where? Netherlands?
The Netherlands, yes. It was a great goal. I thought he took it too wide, but he had this extra touch that just brought him in, and he hit a lovely right foot shot. And the keeper stood no chance. And then Noah Ohio came on and scored an unbelievable goal for the Netherlands. And it looked like it was going to extra time, until Harvey Elliott just took the game by the scruff of the neck. And you know, when you're thinking, right, can you be a hero? Can someone do something special? It's either a mistake or something special. He picked up the ball, he turned the player, done a little pivot with it, and he took 1, 2, 3, 4 players, and it just parted ways for him. And then the composure he showed from 20 yards out to put it into the bottom corner just showed he's such a talent. He's always arriving at the right time as well for England. If he's not going to play at Liverpool, which who knows, he's been a bit part player up to now. He has to go. He has to go and play. I'd have him at Spurs 1,000,000%. He's such a talent, and he's a future England national for sure.
Top lad as well. He used to come to my parties back in the day when he was under 18.
Did he? Yeah.
He used to message me when I used to do my 14 plus parties that because it was hard ticket. Hard tickets, you can be 14 plus. Yeah. And he'd be like, "Can I come? Can me and my girlfriend come?"
Good lad.
Good lad. Good lad. I'm really proud of how far he's come, and I think I'd have him at Spurs.
Yeah,
all day long.
100%. And look, for me, I've not seen much of Nick Voldemade. I think his name is. 6 goals for Germany. Now, if it's just goals, he's got a hat-trick in the first game. If it's just about goals, then player of the tournament's obviously his. But for me, no one's shown more in terms of taking games on a scruff of the neck and doing what's needed to do for your country than Harvey Elliott. So for me, he could be player of the tournament for sure.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to talk about your career, because you was a young man that went from Ipswich Town to Newcastle United, big club, you know, massive players around you and that. How difficult is that as a young man going into a club where there's just like world-class players in and around you? Like, who was at Newcastle at the time in your position when you were there?
In my position, it would have been Kieran Dyer, Jermaine Genus, Lee Bowyer came into the team, Lauren Robert, Nobby Solano.
Just a couple then.
And to be honest, it depends who you are. It depends what kind of mentality you've got. And, you know, when I was at Ipswich, I was a loud, kind of cocky youngster that was coming through the ranks and kind of was always buzzing around the place, you know, annoying the senior pros. You speak to the senior pros, me and Bentley would annoy them because we were so confident.
Because you knew you had a bit about you.
Because I knew I had a bit about me. And then when I went to Newcastle, something just changed in my mentality, and I'm happy to admit that I wasn't that same player. And I remember playing Ipswich in a pre-season friendly. It was a testimonial for our old reserve manager at Ipswich. So Bobby Robson brought the team down, and I remember Jim Magilton walking past the dressing room and calling me out and going, "What are you doing? Like you're just sitting down doing nothing." I couldn't handle the pressure. I couldn't handle the big players at that football club, and I didn't know I had that mentality about me until I was put in that position. It was a real strange situation, and it took me a little while to come out of my shell, to come out of myself. So it depends what kind of mentality you've got. But even then, you won't realise what you're about until you put in that situation with... I was watching Alan Shearer 6-7 years earlier in Euro 96, and then I'm shoved in the room at 17, 18 with him next to me, and it was difficult for me, and I didn't really show Newcastle supporters what I was about, in all honesty. And
unlike Harvey Elliott, who has done that at Liverpool.
100%.
Also, we've got a message here from Daniel. Yes, Harvey Elliott is amazing and a great talent. Just how does he play under 21s when he's 22? Because I think you can have a couple of 23.
No, what it is, if you're 21 or below at the start of qualifying campaign, you can go on until you're whatever age. So there are 23-year-olds because they were 21 at the start of qualifying, and that's a lot of them, to be honest, are overage. There's very rarely Ethan Nwaneri is the youngest. I think he's 18, and he's a talent as well. By the way, he's not got much game time at the moment, but it depends what age you are at the start of qualifying. Sticking
with Liverpool, they've confirmed and continued to spend money this summer as they've confirmed the signing of Milos Kerkez today, taking their spending north of 200 million. Now the signings, of course, have been Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, and I can never say his name. The goalkeeper.
Mamadashvili.
Yeah, Mamadashvili, who signed last season. Yeah. Liverpool, will they be favourites to win the league, and how different would the pressure be them being the champions and people chasing them?
Well, I think they're favourites at the moment. They're strengthening from power, and that's what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do. And as you said, they've allowed Trent Alexander-Arnold to leave the football club because no one's bigger than the club. The biggest signings for me is obviously Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah. They're the biggest signings for me. And then you've got...
keeping the spine of your team.
100%. You look at Frimpong Kerkez, it's kind of an end of an era now for the full. I think Robertson has to move on, potentially. I don't think he'll play back up. And look, he's been one of the best Premier League left-backs of all time, if you're looking at the history. So it's kind of an end of an era. But when you've got a new defence there, but when you've got Virgil van Dijk just sitting there, they're after Gahey as well. And that would be 3 new defenders. But when you've got Virgil van Dijk just as the linchpin of that, I don't think it matters. Everyone seems to improve with Virgil van Dijk. So he's probably the best signing for me. Florian Wirtz, I'm really excited. I know it's a lot of money. I'm really excited to see what he can bring. Has dare I say it, an air of Eden Hazard about him in terms of the dribbling technique, the goals he scores. Can he bring that from Leverkusen, the Bundesliga, to the Premier League? Remains to be seen. I hope he can, because he's a real talent. But yeah, they're favourites for me at the moment.
Best player to come from the Bundesliga to the Premier League? Who was it?
Haaland.
Nope.
Go on.
De Bruyne.
Yeah, De Bruyne. Yeah, good shout. Yeah. Good shout. I know. Honestly, there's a lot, and it works. Hopefully it does with Florian Wirtz, because I watched a lot, not a lot of him, but obviously when you sign, you look at the YouTube clips and stuff, and he's a real talented football player, and hopefully we see the best of him.
Absolutely. League is between Liverpool and Man City, not rocket science. That's from Chris. Well, quite obvious. Up next, we'll be joined by European football guru Andy Brassel, who'll tell us who and what other Premier League teams are now after Victor Gyökeres. You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the new talkSPORT Bet app today. 18+. GambleAware.org.
2.
Go on, Daz. Get your Colin going.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
When I see you hanging about with anyone. What a tune, what a guy. Tom Jones, one of our headliners.
He's in.
At the Sports Bar Festival. He's down, we booked him.
He's in.
The deposit's down.
They're both in.
They're both in.
Him and Elton, together.
Now, obviously, I've mentioned at the start of the show, if you didn't join us, where was you, for one? But I'm fresh back from my beefer after a double
Literally
espresso.
fresh back.
And some Diet Coke. Tom Jones.
How do you do it, though?
It's hard.
Yeah, okay. How do you do it?
The travelling's difficult. But did you know? Do you remember the song that Tom Jones did with Chicane?
No.
Do you know Chicane?
Yeah.
They did Saltwater.
Yeah.
And
what was the
Brian
song?
Adams. But the one with Tom Jones and Chicane, we'll have to get it up. Brilliant song.
Is it?
Yeah.
Get it up.
Stoned
next
in
break.
Love, it's called.
Is it?
Yeah, great
Next
song.
break.
Tom
Get it
Jones on a big dance record. He did a couple of dance numbers, Tom Jones. You're forgetting about Horny. Sorry, Sex Bomb.
Okay.
Which was produced, of course, by Moose T, who made the tune Horny.
Right.
Who's a big house producer. Sex Bomb, Sex Bomb. He loves it, doesn't he? Right, you're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, the spelling of my name on this sheet is amazing. Majestic. I'm going to be calling myself Majestic. Do you know what's funny as well? Do you know how many people get upset with my name?
Why?
Like on YouTube, right? Go into YouTube comments anytime and then there'll be one guy going, I'm not saying a grown man seriously called Majestic.
Can he tell you seriously called Majestic then?
I know, Majestic. I'm like, mate, if you're that upset, just call me Kevin.
Yeah, wow. It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It's my stage name. I'm just keeping my brand consistent. It's like, well, don't call Elton John, because that's not his name.
My name's OTG.
OTG?
Yeah, one touch goal.
So yeah, myself, Majestic, aka Kev, alongside Darren Ambrose. It's time to take a look at the latest transfers around Europe with talkSPORT Bet.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for all the latest odds and offers. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, we are no experts when it comes to European transfers, are we, Daz?
No.
So to help us take us through all the latest transfers, we have the best. You're the best around. It's the very best European football expert, Andy Brassel. How are we doing, Andy?
Hey, And.
Hello, fellas. How are you? I'll call you Madge. I want to call you Madge.
It's Majestic today.
Right, let's go straight into it. Looking like Chelsea are getting closer to the signing of Jamie Gittens from Borussia Dortmund. What's taken Chelsea so long with this one, and what could he bring to the team, Andy?
Well, they were starting from a point where they were trying to lowball Dortmund, really. This was leading into the Club World Cup. Of course, we had that mini window, and they'd really hoped they would get him on board to go to the States. But at that point, Chelsea and Dortmund were a long way apart fee-wise. Now, Dortmund wouldn't have been asking anywhere near as much for him as they would have, say, if it had been a Christmas sale or they'd been pitching their price around Christmas, because he had an unbelievable first half of the season and a not very good second half of the season. Look, Chelsea have always known this was going to happen at one point. One, because Gittens agreed on terms with them probably about 3-4 weeks ago now. And secondly, because Dortmund want to get rid, a little bit like Christian Pulisic, really, who they ended up making a lot of money off Chelsea from as well, because he's just not in the team anymore. Niko Kovac, the new coach, doesn't really fancy him. But if you can get the Gittens from the first part of last season, Chelsea will have done really, really well. You're looking at someone who actually had a great relationship with Jadon Sancho. Of course, they both came out of the Manchester City Academy. Sancho took him under his wing a little bit, looked after him when they were at Dortmund, when he was back there on loan. And really, it was Nuri Sahin that got into his head and made him more direct. He was like, look, I know you're really good at dribbling, but just try and play it a little bit more simple, have more shots. And it definitely worked in the first half of last season. So if you're getting that Gittens, you've got a real weapon.
He was at Chelsea when he was really young, wasn't he, if I remember rightly?
Really, really, really
like
young.
under eights.
Well, that's the funny thing. Well, that's like how I can say Jamal Musiala used to play for Wimbledon because he played for like Wimbledon under-9s. Oh, yeah. But I still believe in my heart of hearts that he will come back and play for us when he's bored of Bayern. When he's like,
they should have spotted that talent back then, shouldn't they? And they should have spotted that talent.
There was no holding him, Dad. There was no holding him.
All right, and look, we know that Victor Gyökeres wants to leave Sporting Lisbon this summer. Obviously, Arsenal, Manchester United, they're interested. What's the latest on that front?
I think Arsenal will get this over the line eventually.
Do you?
Now,
wow. Should we be scared, Andy? Should we be scared?
Yes, because this is a guy who's one of the absolute best strikers in Europe at the moment. Of course, there are people who would doubt him from a distance because they'll go, oh, well, it's only the Portuguese league, etc., etc. I think they're forgetting the fact that he dismantled Manchester City in the Champions League and he scored regularly in Europe, that he's someone who, like most strikers, plays up front on his own, but except when Sweden pair him with Alexander Isak, they managed to fit really well together because they're both so good and they complement each other so well. He's versatile, he won't be bullied. He's improved his all-round game outside the penalty box immeasurably since he's gone to Portugal as well, where he is in a team where they're expected to win every single week. And it's just really been two things. Really, firstly, the price, because Sporting have a 100 million buyout clause in his contract, 100 million euros, which no one was going anywhere near. And there was an agreement between Gyökeres and Sporting that he would go for a little less if he stayed this last season rather than just leaving after a year. So now he feels they're going back on it a little bit. Again, I think some of the Premier League teams who are having a go for him are lowballing a little bit. Juventus simply don't have the money to go up to where Sporting want. They want about 75 million euros. From what I gather, Arsenal are about 60 at the moment, so a touch under 50 million quid. I think if they're getting up towards 70 million euros, that's very reasonable for someone who's as good as he is, who's improved as much as he is. The whole Ruben Amorim thing made it so likely that he was going to Manchester United for a long time, but obviously they've kind of played themselves out of the picture, and he's set on Arsenal. The one thing is, the other side of it is the internal battle between the different factions at Arsenal, because Arteta's had so much of his own way. He's had so much power over the last year and a half, 2 years. And now he's got a sporting director in Andrea Berta who knows a thing or two about spending a lot of money on strikers, because he bought a lot of expensive strikers while he was at Atletico. And his view, it seems, is to bring Gyökeres to the table, whereas Arteta has always preferred Šeško. Now, for me, like, Gyökeres is by far the better choice. He's the more natural goal scorer. He's more something from outside the tent, something a bit different to what Arsenal have already got. And like, if they get him, they're definite title challengers next season.
Scary. But speaking of Arsenal, they're in talks to sign defender Christian Mosquera from Valencia. What can you tell us about that?
I see this guy play against England in the under-21s, and he made an error in the box that created the guy. I think it's for James McAtee, just kind of come off him. I mean, is he? They're treating him like the next Saliba. Am I right in saying that?
Well, I mean, like, if we're talking about defenders having bad games, and I'm going to bring Wimbledon to the table here again now. I remember him having a dreadful game away at Wimbledon in the Pizza Cup when Wimbledon beat Arsenal 3-0, and it was Arsenal under 21s 3-0. It can just happen, you know. Like, Mosquera has been really, really consistent. He's improved further under Carlos Corberán since he went there. Remember, Valencia were right down the bottom of the table at Christmas, and Corberán got them into mid-table. He did a brilliant job. Mosquera has steadily improved, and he was really, really consistent last season. A lot of clubs are interested in him. And really, you look how short Arsenal were at the end of last season in terms of centre-backs. They need a bit more quality in there, and they can develop him over time. If you're asking, do I think he's someone who'll come in and play 38 games? No, but he doesn't need to, because they've re-signed Gabriel to a new contract. They've got Saliba. You've got Yuri and Timber, who can play inside as well, even though they've played him at right back a little bit more. So I think they need that extra player, and I think Mosquera is well on the way to becoming a top-class centre-back.
Yeah, I think I was being a bit harsh. Like, he made the error for the goal, but in the whole all-round game, he looked strong, he looked solid, to be honest.
Do you know what? We had a message here whilst we were on saying, ask Andy, why don't Newcastle buy Gyökeres if he plays so well with Isak? Can you please ask Andy for me?
They're not allowed to spend, are they?
They've got other priorities, frankly. So, like, I think that would be amazing, seeing the pair of them at club level. But we know with Newcastle, they need another centre-back, they need a midfielder, they need a wide player. I know they've got more to spend than they have the last couple of windows, but they're not buying Gyökeres as well on top of that. That's just not where their priorities are.
Yeah, of course. Let's look at Manchester United then, and obviously Garnacho wants out. They want him out. The reports suggest they'll accept
Garnacho, the Villa fan.
The Villa fan. They'll accept bids around 45 million. Is that best for all parties, do you think?
Get him out.
Yeah, and you know what? I think United massively missed a trick not selling into Napoli in January. You know, they could have got more than that in January. And I think the offer from Napoli was more than generous. Bear in mind, they were a little bit desperate as well and a little bit flush because they just sold Kvaratskhelia. Antonio Conte really wanted him. Not so much anymore. Now he's got bolstered transfer budget and there are other wide players available to him. I mean, bear in mind, at the back of the window in January, they were scrabbling around trying to get St. Maxima on loan. But with Garnacho, look, the ability's there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I have serious doubts whether he is becoming a top-level player unless he really finds another level and finds a way to be a little bit more professional.
Yeah. Is it a mentality thing with him, Andy? Because we've seen so many great players, young.
We have.
So throw it all away. I see Dele Alli in some awful get-up earlier on in X. I was just, it's such a reminder of how great some players have been and then just fall off.
Yeah, I mean, with Garnacho, I think a lot has been expected of him at a very early age because, United have been going through a bad spell. But it's also allowed him to learn bad habits and get away with stuff, I think. I think he doesn't do nearly enough work off the ball. The bit where I thought I'm really out on this guy is when they were playing away at Lyon in the quarterfinals, and United had the chance to finish the game on the break when they were winning. He's on the break, he plays this pass for Bruno Fernandes, which is a terrible pass, which is way in front of him, and he coats off Bruno Fernandes for not getting it. And I'm like, firstly, you can't be speaking to your captain like that. Secondly, it's your mistake.
It's a bad pass.
what on earth are you talking about? Yeah. And you know what? I think Napoli have dodged a bullet there. If they'd have gone out and bought him, well, I'm not saying they wouldn't have won the league or anything like that. I'm sure they would have gone on and won the league just as they did anyway. But I think he would have driven Antonio Conte absolutely nuts. Or then again, maybe Conte instills discipline into him and makes him really good. Yeah. It's difficult to tell. Maybe it's just about the right environment because, United haven't been great at developing talent in recent years. But look, there's so much ability. I hope he does get somewhere. Yeah. And wise up and become the player that he should be.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Andy. That was a look at the latest action thanks to talkSPORT Bet. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for all the latest odds and offers. 18+, GambleAware.org.
The brilliant Andy Bradshaw there. Loads of stuff, doesn't he? Fantastic.
Him and Kev.
I was going to say,
amazing,
him and Kev, they blow my mind.
Incredible.
It's like,
honestly, I remember working on Sundays and they used to do the Trans-Europe Express at the after us.
He still does, great show.
He'd come in, he'd be reading a magazine in I don't know, Spanish, Italian, and I'd be like, what is happening here?
Right.
What a guy.
You've heard the best of talkSPORT.
Nah, don't like that one.
Up next, the rest of talkSPORT on the Sports Bar. Oh, we've got the A-team in the gallery tonight. DJ. We got DJ Kitch in Shadow Rain. This is the sounds of Chicane and Tom Jones.
Is this it?
Pump it up, Kitch. Look, listen. When I'm finished on love.
I like it. I like it. You wouldn't put Elton John in this, though, would you?
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. Exactly. That's why you wouldn't put him in it.
That's why you wouldn't do it.
I weren't listening.
Do you know what? Sometimes the classics on a remix of a dance tune sound great. Elton John, he's had some remixes done of recent time by, I think he did it. I can't remember, was it Clapton or Purple Disco Machine, one of the two. Anyway, that was Stone in Love by Chicane and Tom Jones. Tom Jones, who definitely is making our Sports Bar Festival. Keep those Sports Bar Festival headliners coming in on 03717223344. This is the rest of Talk Sport, right? Where we run you through some of the recent highlight moments from across TalkSport. Now we're going to bring you a breakfast special in honour of Cundy and O'Hara, who are taking over TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow morning. Let's kick things off with breakfast this morning with Siobhan O'Hearn, Gabby Abongahor, and of course, Alan Brazil. The trio discuss dating and Alan loses it after being asked if it's okay to kiss on a first date.
Are you allowed to kiss on the first date?
100%, mate.
He's never been kissed. There's a man. There's a man who's never been kissed. It's a kiss.
Oh, would you kiss on the first date? One of the stupidest questions ever. Of course you can.
You can, okay.
Okay. Of course you can.
All right, Karen, don't bite my head
so
off.
Are you? Honestly, I know you've had one film in your life, but do it, yeah.
I was just wondering.
Right, what we got?
It's a simple question now.
Don't be questioning.
Okay.
Listen, fair play to Siobhan. I don't know how she looks so good and fresh in the morning.
I know.
Big up Siobhan, because I would not look that good in the morning. I've noticed I didn't say that Alan or Gabby.
I know, I was going to say, what about those two?
No, she looks fresh. Right, is it okay to kiss on a first date?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. It has to be.
Do you remember your first ever kiss?
My first ever kiss?
Yeah, like a proper kiss.
Way back. That was when I was in primary school.
Really? No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a French kiss.
Yeah, primary school.
Primary
I
school?
was about 11, I think. 10 or 11.
Oh, wow.
I was playing a game with a dice. And whatever number it landed on is something you had to do.
Really?
I mean, it was only kid stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was about 10.
I was in the first year of secondary school.
Was you?
Yeah.
Good though, innit?
That's great. I still remember her name.
Yeah.
Have you kissed on a first date before?
The first date, yes. Kissed my wife on our first date. Our first date was in Pizza Hut. Now, I know the next question is, what's the worst date you've ever had?
Pizza
Hut. I took her to Pizza Hut.
I'll tell you something, right? I mean, this is really cringy, right? And people of our generation will probably know about it. Do you remember going to like the sort of under 18 discos?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Right? And the idea of getting on someone, it was called... but the worst thing was... Yeah.
Excuse you?
Yeah. Your friend would go up to the girl and ask on your behalf.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was so cringe.
Do you like my mate over there?
Yeah. Like they'd walk over and you're just there pretending like you don't know what's happening. You're like trying to do like your sort of blue.
And you look over, and go, "Oh, me?"
Yeah. And you look at them, and then they come over and go, "No." You're like, "Didn't like her anyway."
Oh, dude.
Oh, but like that was the thing, and you go home and you'll be like, "How many girls did you get on tonight?" Like, 6. Oh, it's terrible. You look back. Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, it's brilliant.
What's the worst date you've ever had?
Well, I just said all my dates have been brilliant. First dates, they're probably worse for them, to be honest, with me. But we went Pizza Hut. I didn't like cheese at the time, so I just had tomato puree on toast, basically.
Oh my God! And she married you.
She married me. She's a winner.
Don't forget, Cundy and O'Hara will be taking over the TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. Make sure to tune in.
Right, back to breakfast again. This time, Alan Brazil asks Jermaine Pennant and Gabby Agbonlahor what the Spanish potato tapas dish is called.
What is the name of the tapas dish that consists of many, often cubed potatoes?
Paella.
What?
Paella.
No! Potatoes, you numpty!
Paella, that's rice, isn't it, mate?
No! Yeah, it's potatoes I'm talking about. Cubed potatoes. The answer's patatas bravas.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought the paella have like a little couple of bit of potatoes in there. Nah, it's rice, mate.
You sure you were...
Yeah, rice and potatoes and all chicken, everything in there.
That takes the battle of the dopes here today, isn't it?
Oh, Oh, he's
Honestly,
got
these
the
guys.
battles of the dope. Listen, I love JP, and I'm actually on the sports bar tomorrow night with
You've got to give him some for that.
Mate, do you know what it is?
Go on.
Everything to do with food, he gets wrong.
Does he?
Like,
This is food travel. It's travel as well, really.
But he's like, no, like, I'm saying, like, you know, like lamb, mint sauce, pork, apple sauce, chicken and turkey, cranberry sauce, and then beef is horseradish, and you weren't having it.
No.
We had a whole phone-in about it. Oh.
Chicken and beans. What's your favourite Spanish dish?
Well, first and foremost, I'm gonna go through some tapas dishes to you, see how good your tapas knowledge is. Patatas bravas, they've already mentioned, is the potatoes,
yeah.
What is gambas?
Ham.
No, prawns. Albondigas.
Ham.
No, meatballs.
Albondigas?
Yeah, albondigas is meatballs. Chorizo.
Sausage.
There you go, the little spicy sausage. It's good, isn't it?
The chorizo is probably my favourite Spanish dish, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say well, I've got to do a massive shout out, and you can clip this out and put it on, right? And recommended by me highly. And of course, being a bit of a larger man, I am someone who does enjoy my food, right? Tapas in San Antonio, Ibiza. It's a restaurant called Tapas, owned by good friends of mine. I've been going there for 12 years, touring there. It's incredible.
Wow.
It's in San Antonio. If you're going to Ibiza this year, go to Tapas. It is truly incredible. So yeah, my favourite, Albondigas for me.
Albondigas, favourite takeaway?
That's a difficult one, man.
Chinese, come on.
Do you know what? I don't think Chinese travels well.
Really?
No, as a takeaway.
I love
doesn't travel well.
I love it.
I think Indian
travels... Is it in your body, or...?
No, but it doesn't... you know, like certain things, for example, like... You know, you mentioned Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
In store, Pizza Hut's tremendous.
Yeah.
When it travels, no good.
Yeah,
it's not a traveller.
I know what you mean.
But Chinese doesn't travel well.
Then, where are you going?
Maybe Thai.
Thai, yeah. Good
I love a Thai.
Where's your death row meal?
Oh.
That's hard, That's hard.
What, Snoop Dogg and Tupac and Dre? You took that death row. My death row meal, so difficult. So difficult. I'm going to go for a Massaman curry.
Yeah, I think mine's a curry. A
Massaman, Thai curry.
Massaman. There's no outline for me there, so straight on to you.
Straight on to me. Right, sticking with the guys on breakfast. This time, Gabby finds himself trying to break the world record for saying Mrs. Smith's fish sauce shop 18 times in 30 seconds.
Come on, you ready? You got 30 seconds starting.
Ready.
Now.
Mrs. Smith's fish sauce shop. 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 Mrs. Smith's fish sauce shop.
Not bad, Gab, but there was a few thistles in there. We'll give you. We'll maybe give you 16 there, but I think some of your pronunciation
was not spot on. Yeah.
16. I counted about 4.
4 correct. This is my plea to the nation, guys. I assure you, talkSPORT is good. Yeah, it's just we're on the off season at the moment. It's bad.
Yeah.
I know it's bad, but stick with us because it does get better.
Yeah.
Could you say Mrs. Smith's fish sauce shop 18 times in 30 seconds?
No, I couldn't. No.
What world record do you think you could break?
Stacking 20 Lego bricks.
You loved your Lego, didn't you?
The fastest to stack Lego bricks about 25 seconds. 20.
Really?
In like big Lego bricks. I could do that. Only because I know there's no Lego bricks around here.
I reckon mix the most records in a minute.
You reckon you could do that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know what it is actually.
I think you could do that.
I easily could do it.
Yep.
What's the silliest world record? The one that Jason and Jamie did.
Apart from the Mrs. Fish shop, that one. Longest plank. You know the plank?
Yeah.
For the abdominal
That's not
plank.
silly.
That's a silly one.
No, it's amazing.
Mate, it's about 9.5 hours.
Exactly. That's incredible core strength.
Yeah, that's pointless. Though.
I don't care how pointless it is.
Why does a man stand?
Because he's El Brutus.
Laying on a plank.
What a brute to do that. Well, you having a look?
I've already got it up. 9 hours, 38 minutes, 47 seconds. Joseph Salek from the Czech Republic.
I think he's done absolutely brilliant.
The stupidest man.
The stupidest man. Speaking of stupid, how did you get on with your hanging baskets?
Oh, mate. Have you ever felt like an idiot?
Often.
So, my mother-in-law brought round a hanging basket, and it sat there for about a week, and my missus kept saying, put the hanging basket
Get
up. So we had the frame. Is that what it's called? The frame. Mate, it took me about 2.5 hours to get this frame in the brick wall. First, I couldn't get it in the brick wall. Then I had to move it, so I've got holes all over my wall now. And when I'd done it, it took me ages. I walked away, it was upside down. I was like, you know what? I'm an idiot. And finally, we finish off with Alan Brazil responding to O'Hara and Cundy, including Big Al in their dad bod sizes.
Oh, no. I'll get one back tomorrow from 6 till 10. Listen to them two tubes in this chair in this studio. Don't worry about that. I'll get my home fun back tomorrow listening to you two.
I wouldn't trust anything them two get going. No way.
Dad bod. What's that?
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear.
No idea of the...
the chunk, Yeah, exactly. All the gear, no idea.
Yeah, he wears some rascals as well, both of them do.
Well, Jason doesn't kid himself. Jason knows what age he is, but the chunk, he thinks he's Tom Cruise, doesn't he?
It's just an out-and-out war of words on this station, isn't it? Between everyone. I think they'll do all right. How do you think they'll do tomorrow, O'Hara and Cundy? O'Hara.
They'll be brilliant.
I think they'll be brilliant.
They're great. Listen,
maybe get the dump button ready every now and then.
100%. They are. Listen, it's an acquired taste, and they're very good at it.
And they are.
So, but as like I said, me and Pards on a Sunday, we like to do a bit more highbrow.
All right, I'm gonna ask this. It's harsh because they may play it out to him. Does O'Hara think he's Tom Cruise?
No.
Of course he don't.
Listen, let me
knows
say.
who he is.
I'm going to say something to the nation here now. You know, Jamie O'Hara is falsely accused of being the chunk. He's not chunk.
Nah.
I'm honestly, like, if I could be in the O'Hara shape, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? He's an ex-professional athlete, so maybe.
That brings me on to the next question. Who's in the best shape at talkSPORT?
Well, it's so irrelevant, isn't it, really? But Ambrose, look at he's missing with a compliment. Listen, Ambrose is an athlete.
That's not even on there. I just know.
Ambrose, you're definitely an athlete. Like, you can still run, you can do a bit, can't you?
Thank you. But am I counted on talkSPORT? Am I counterpart of the talkSPORT? I don't know that.
Adela Depot, mate.
Yeah, he's good shape.
You don't want to get in the gym with that
good
man.
Good shape, yeah.
I tell you who looks after himself.
Go on.
Gareth Davies.
Yeah, he does. Loves a spinning heel kick as well.
Look, listen, man, I'm in a spinning class as we talk. And Moses Otomo wants to knock me out, but he can't. He can't knock me out. He won't knock me out.
I'd never met that guy before. Said hello to him. He tried to spinning heel kick me in my face.
Gareth?
Yeah. I was like,
Darren,
what
listen,
is going on?
You're a valiant warrior at Manchester United, Old Trafford, but can you do it inside the ring?
What a guy. And don't forget, Cundy and O'Hara will be taking over talkSPORT Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. Make sure to tune in.
For all the best bits of talkSPORT every day, make sure you check out the talkSPORT Daily Podcast, and don't forget to download the talkSPORT app, where you can swipe between talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2 and all of our other sister stations, so you never miss a moment. Mate, I tell you what, imagine Daz on the radio. It feels good.
Feels good to be back.
It feels great.
Feels good to be back.
Come on, guys.
Just think, from the time we've started, that Joseph Salek has still got about eight hours of planking to do. From the time we started,
so
now
true.
That's a silly world record. Come on.
Up next, we'll see what tomorrow's back pages have to say about Spurs' latest beef with Man United.
What?
Lads, it's Tottenham. Have that, yeah? We've not celebrated together since winning, have we?
And what a kit, by the way. Have you seen it?
I like it.
Brilliant.
You're listening to SportsBot on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the new talkSPORT Bet app today. 18+, gamblerware.org.
got me started.
Come on, Ambrose, sing.
You know that I will love you.
You know this ones?
I know the chorus.
Since we parted.
Truly know that I.
You got to do the ad-libs on this one when you're doing like in this car and you're on your own. You got to do the. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. That guy. Yes, I would. I want to be that guy. Should be ready? Ready? Here it goes.
Amazing.
But this piano riff is iconic. Ready? Here he comes. Mate, so funky. What a band. Mick Hucknall and Simply Red. Unbelievable. They have made my lineup for me. Yep. I want the Simply Red on there.
So we've got Elton, Tom Jones,
Simply Red. They're in.
Paul McCartney.
Paul Macca in there?
Nah. He can wait. He can wait till next year.
This is the record-breaking sports part on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and Darren Ambrose in for Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, who'll be on breakfast tomorrow morning. Still to come, we need your help with our midnight trivia. Get your calls in now, 0371722 3344. Now, it's time to take a look at some of tomorrow's biggest sports stories in the back pages. And joining us now to go through all of tomorrow's stories tonight is Jack Cunningham from talkSPORT.com. How are we doing, Jack?
Evening, lads. How you doing? You good?
Hey, Jack.
Jack, who would be on your ideal festival lineup, like as a headline?
Oh, The Strokes.
The Strokes.
Like 100%, yeah.
Brilliant.
The Strokes.
You know about the Strokes?
Band I've not seen yet live, so...
You're not seeing them live?
No, disappointed. I've not seen them.
I saw them first time round when they came out at Reading and Leeds. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know about the Strokes, Ambrose?
No.
Last night. Great band. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. Farrell lets Pollock off the leash. That's in the Times. Andy Farrell has told Henry Pollock that he has free licence to celebrate and be himself on his first start for the British and Irish Lions. Tell us more about that, Jack.
Yes, obviously Henry Pollock's kind of the new rising star in rugby, 20-year-olds, back row player. He is going to make his first start on Friday when they play Western Force, which is actually going to be live on talkSPORT because talkSPORT have got the whole Lions tour covered, which is absolutely brilliant. So basically Andy Farrell has told him to be himself and be as creative as possible and be as aggressive as possible and just basically try and light up the tour, because basically Amaro Toji kind of called him a pest in an interview beforehand, which was obviously, it wasn't like he wasn't being serious, it was sort of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but Andy Farrell I think maybe took it as a bit more. He was being serious and said he's not a pest, he's brilliant. So it was a bit of an odd one. But yeah, basically in terms of the Lions, like they lost last weekend to Argentina in Dublin to start the tour. Not exactly a brilliant way to start, but they're now in Australia and it all starts tomorrow against Western Force, and we'll have to see how they do. It's big summer of rugby. The Lions only comes around every sort of 4 years, and I think it gets people who not necessarily are into rugby sort of watching it more and more. So yeah.
Ben Rumsby, Jack, in the Daily Telegraph writes, Tottenham sue Ineos for 11.1 million. Tottenham Hotspur suing Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos for more than 11 million. What's this about?
Okay, so Ineos used to sponsor Tottenham. They were the official 4x4 sponsors for Tottenham, but they cut that deal basically when they invested in Manchester United. So they've got a 27.7% stake in Manchester United. Obviously, we all know they run the football operations, but initially it came out the story that they broke up, like it was fine, there was a neutral agreement, it was okay, but actually what's happened is Tottenham have now sued them. They've sued them 5 million in damages, and then also the rest of it is the money, the one-off payment that that Ineos agreed to pay and haven't paid yet, and also the interest on top of that they haven't paid yet, coming to £11.1 million. So it's going to probably get a bit messy, I think, between Tottenham and Man United. I'd be surprised if they do any deals with each other this summer. And look, from a Tottenham point of view, hey, look, if you get that, you might be able to buy a player.
Or two, the amount of money
Thomas Frank might get someone. Who knows?
That might be the 5th time we beat Man United this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right in the Daily Mail, turn our attention to cricket. Archer back for England. Jofra Archer could make his first Test appearance for more than 4 years next week after he was added to England's squad to face India.
Yeah, absolutely massive this. Jofra Archer is back fit finally to play red ball cricket. Don't know how you big cricket fans you are, but if we go back to 2019 in the Ashes, he was electric, bowling at 95 mile an hour. He basically knocked Steve Smith out with one of his bounces. It was was that brutal. It was that lethal. Steve Smith had to go off and couldn't carry on because it was just so good. And Archer, when he's fit, is easily one of the best bowlers we've ever seen, in the sense of he's got the pace, he's got the skill, and also he can swing it as well. So perfect for any conditions. And look, ahead of the Ashes, this is big, for England. If we can have Jofra Archer fit and we can go to Australia with a fit Jofra Archer who can bowl at 90 mile an hour in those short spells, then England have a much better chance of finally winning down under. I don't think he'll play, to be honest, next week. I think it's a bit too soon. He played against Durham in the last county round of championship games, and he bowled about 18 overs over both innings. So, he got some decent legs into him, decent bit of overs into him as well. But ultimately, he's probably not going to be ready yet, but it's lovely to have him in the squad. And let's hope we do see him at some point in this series, looking ahead to the Ashes in the winter, because he's had injury hell for 4 years. I mean, it's been elbow injury after elbow injury, back injury. Finally, hopefully, we're at the end of that now, and we can see Jofra Archer back to his best.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Right, let's get the latest stories from across the talkSPORT website, Jack.
Yeah, sorry lads, you're not going to enjoy this one, but talkSPORT understands that Eberechi Eze is now a big target for Arsenal in their hunt for a left winger. So
they released him. They released him when he was a kid. Come on, release
I know. But basically, it's
don't
looking
go
like
back to your exes. Come on, man. You never go back to your ex, especially when they've dumped you.
But then surely it's just Tottenham. Just be a bit quicker, lads. So he's there.
I suppose so us though, and it's like Dan, you're going. Can we give you £5 over the next 25 years? Oh, dearie me.
You are right. That is the truth. I mean, he's got a release clause of £68 million, and Spurs would be like, yeah, we'll do 40 million, and you can have Basuma maybe. That seems like what you're going to do. But if Arsenal do come in for him, it'd be interesting. I don't know how that'd go down, because Arsenal do probably need a new left winger. I don't think Gabriel Martinelli's good enough. Really don't think he's gone backwards over the last couple of seasons. I think if you go look back,
I'd say, Jack, I think it's been coached out of him.
Yeah, I agree.
He looked like a raw talent when he first came in. I remember watching him. I remember he got a couple of goals against Chelsea. He was brilliant.
Yeah, we ran like the length of the pitch against Chelsea. Yeah, that was pretty mad. Yeah.
And I just remember looking at it, and he used to come out. I was scared.
Yeah,
like when he used to be injured or something and weren't playing against Spurs. I was like, thank God for that.
Buzzing.
Remember, I think it was Emerson Royale had to get sent off because he couldn't handle him. Yep. I just think it's been coached out of him. So, Eze, don't go there, mate. You won't be free to express yourself.
No, you're going to lose all creativity. It's a fair point, though. Thomas Frankel's definitely free him up. Like,
for sure.
I think he'll create a system, because he's done it at Brentford. He created a system where he got the best out of Mbembo, he got the best out of Visser. He gets the best out of his creative players. Yep. If Eze joins Tottenham, you will 100% see the best.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, Jason Cochran, give him a call. Get your arm around him.
Yeah.
Bring
him in.
Bring him in. Jack, thanks a lot, mate. Brilliant stuff there.
Lads, catch you later. Have a great evening.
Up next with some midnight trivia, and we need your help. The phone line number is what, Darren?
03717 22 4.
And can you do it in German?
No.
03717 22 4. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the new talkSPORT Bet app. 18+, gamblerware.org.